they opened up a little small track in Danville called the Dixie Speedway, and they wanted to get some black drivers, and they thought they didn't know who to approach, so they went to the police department to find out what black guys had speeding records and things like that. So they told them they want somebody to drive a race car to see me. So that's how I started racing.
As Matt told us earlier, trying to become the first African-American driver since Willie T. Ribbs and join Randy Bethea and the great Wendell Scott.
He did he drove the car exactly what the car wanted him to do. He got out early. It looked like a little tight, but he kept in the throttle and he got a good lap. And wow, way to go!
There you go.
Woo-hoo. That's it.
That man, Tony Schumacher, wins. He is the champion for an 8th time. But Antron Brown, if Tony Schumacher loses, becomes the first African American to win an NHRA title. 376. Antron Brown is the top fuel champion.
These need to be the best 7 laps of Darrell Wallace Jr.'s life.
That was a good first part of it right there.
Turn number 4, Darrell Wallace Jr. is going to get his first win in the Camping World Truck Series. His final time through 3 and 4. He's going to do it. Bubba Wallace wins at Kansas.
Ready. What they gonna say now, baby? Let's go!
Record is equals. Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world.
Get in there, Lewis. What a way to do it, mate. What a way to win your 7th world title.
Welcome back to this is episode 9.
10 coming soon.
10 coming soon, yeah.
10 coming soon.
Man, God. Not 10 episodes in 9 weeks. There's no other podcast out there doing this, folks. None at all. But welcome back to Victory Lane Vibes. I am your hostess with the mostest, Carl. We're back. I'm back for this very special episode that we're doing, and we've got a full set tonight. A lot to talk about, a lot more than you think we're going to talk about. So I'll let everybody go ahead and introduce themselves. You've all heard from these fine folks before, so I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves, and we'll get it kicked off.
I'll go. Vontae, being here all episodes. Yes, sir.
What up? It's Arthur. Happy to be back.
It's Jerry back again. Got a good show for y'all.
Hey y'all, it's Kiana.
My name is Baraka. Glad to be back.
All right, and as previously mentioned, Carl, and happy to be here. So, a lot to talk about, a lot happening this weekend. A lot obviously happened last weekend and this week because the race was on Monday. But before we jump into NASCAR, because a lot of the content this week is going to be about NASCAR, I was thinking about this today, and I know that not everybody is the F1 expert. We don't have Danny this week, but I brought it up. I tweeted about it like last week that AlphaTauri, which is now going to be renamed the Hugo Boss Bulls, which whatever, I guess. It'll always be Toro Rosso to me. I guess it came out that they're going to race the RB19 next year. They're going to race this year's Red Bull car next year. And my thought process on that is this: like, Karen Horner made such a big deal about the 2020 Force India being the 2019 Mercedes, and yet here they are replicating that. Honestly, I want to know, should the whole field should probably just show up next year with this year's Red Bull's car and be done with it. Because, like, if history goes to show anything, I know it's out of left field, but I wanted to talk about it real quick before we got on the NASCAR stuff. if history shows anything, Adrian Newey is kind of a one-trick pony in that when he develops a package, they stick with that forever. So, I wanted you guys to know, like, what do you think about that? And then I get anything else you guys want to add that's not NASCAR related, and then we'll dive into last weekend's race, if you count Monday as the weekend.
I mean, personally, it's genius. Like, what better way to get your rebrand popped off than having a car that's literally beating everybody by 40 seconds? The Constructors' Championship is a big deal at F1. It's a lot of big money in the Constructors to hire you place. Why not get the Hugo Boss Buells or the Hugo Bosses? I feel like Lupe or Kanye I feel like somebody had a line where they played with Hugo Boss. One of them needs to do the sponsorship activation when they reveal the livery for the car. I think it's genius. Make your second tier team become like a first tier team overnight and stack these chips.
Hey, listen. I'll be there with that Yuki podium hits. It's gonna hit like crack. If Yuki gets a P2, 3, or 1, it will hit like crack. Like, I will be there for sure. Like, the stocks that I have invested in this guy, just for Adrian Newey's RB19 to rock up at Alpha Tires doors, I'll be there. No hesitation at all. What about Danny? He could piss off for all I care.
Dang.
Damn, man.
They need him for the American, but Baraka, they need him for the American races, though. We have to have our cowboy.
Wow.
Bro, all he does is coattail the ride of our dear departed Dale Earnhardt. God rest his soul.
It's so weird. It's so weird, man. Because it's like, all right, bro. Like, if you want to be the American, like the Dale Earnhardt guy or whatever, it's like, then do something. Like, you had a year off, man, or almost. Come run an IndyCar Oval. Do something. And he's like, oh, I'm too scared. I can't do an Aussie accent. But it's just like, why do we have to own this guy? We don't want him. Anyway, it just drives me crazy.
Right now. Liam Lawson is going to take his seat next year. I'm calling it.
I'm fine with that. Anyway,
once Liam Lawson dunks on Super Formula, he is coming to take Danny's seat. You heard it here first.
Anybody got anything non-NASCAR related to add or opinions on that whole deal? It's just, I'm sorry, that announcement has been pissing me off since I read it last week. I've been seething about it, so I had to just vent in the open space about it.
I mean, I still think it's genius. Now, does Williams take this 4.7 version of the Mercedes car as it'll be at the end of the year and, steal that too? Does everybody start doing it?
Right. That's exactly my point. And I didn't want to say it, but it's just like, okay, because it was so frowned upon when it happened the first time, or the first time in recent history anyway. It's happened before, but it was so frowned upon when Force India did it, right? I was just like, surely it's never going to happen again. And then Red Bull is openly like, yeah, we're going to give them our car for next year. So it's like, oh, if that's the case, it's a free-for-all. Everybody show up with either, the Aston Martin or the Mercedes or the Red Bull from this year, next year. I don't know. Look, man,
Hey, I just clocked it. Isn't last year, didn't Haas come out with pretty much a white Ferrari?
Yeah, they did the bathtub side pods like halfway in, and in true Haas fashion, still managed to screw that up. So.
Bless that organization.
The most unserious I mean, it's not that they're unserious, but it's just like.
No, they are.
God, man, and it's just
we're gonna start an F1 team and be more unserious than them. That's our goal.
Like, Gene Haas is a billionaire.
They keep Gene
with a B. Why are you?
This is why I needed to win Mega Millions, because that was part of the plan.
I mean, doo-doo water.
Gene, I know Gene for a fact. Like, they asked him, like, is he worried about Andretti? And I know it's going to come down to Gene being like, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. And then, like, the prized Andretti horse is going to meet an untimely demise. Because, oh, God. Anyway.
I'm surprised Penske hasn't flirted with the idea of going into F1.
I
thought, yeah, right.
just briefly for a second, I'm so annoyed about this Las Vegas thing, right? Because they said I think it's $500 million right now that they spent on this race, and it's probably going to be dog water for a number of reasons. But I'm just like, Roger Penske speaks one language fluently, money. Y'all could have just given him $100 million and went back to Indy with the improvements that he needed. He would have opened up his checkbook and brought Indy up to F1 spec. That would have been a story in and of itself, and we could have all had what we wanted.
Is it already a grade 1 track? I think it's
Is it? There was some conversation 2 years ago that it had to. They needed it. That it. When Roger bought it, I think they said that the FIA or rather Liberty or not Liberty Mutual.
Liberty. They
said that there was going to need to be some improvements made to it before they would enter real talks. It probably is a grade 1 track. I think they mean in terms of fan experience and infrastructure is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Des, I'm glad you brought that up. The race not for another 3 months, and they're already $400 million over budget.
Insane money.
That's crazy.
Wait, 400 mil?
Yeah, This race is gonna. They're hopeful that since this is the inaugural race that they'll net out. They're hopeful that they net out. It's a success if they net out. I'll put it that way. It's a success if they net out.
The annual GDP of the state of Montana.
Right.
No. And
like,
400 million is over budget, and these unserious men are beefing with the casinos over seating. And
because they need that money.
They need the money. They don't want anyone being able to get, free. They don't want anyone getting a free pass to see anything without paying them directly. And I don't know why they thought they would be able to do that in Las Vegas, but whatever. Stupid.
Well, with that being said, Art, you got anything you want to add to that?
I mean, it sounds like a setup. It sounds like a scam. I wouldn't put my money into it, but best of luck to you, I guess. I'm not going out there.
That's sheet metal money. I ain't buying that.
Yeah.
Sheet metal money.
My money
Let's talk
elsewhere.
Let's talk about that. So I was really excited for this Vegas race. I don't like flying. I hate Vegas, but I'd go for F1 till I saw what the seats cost. And then I thought I found a good deal. I forget which hotel had it. You can get 3 nights passes to like the box or whatever. It was like $5,000. And I was like, huh. If me and 5 of my friends sleep on the floor, that's a stack. But I still got to fly out there. I still got to eat. Nah, I'm good. And then I just realized that the race starts at 11 o'clock local time. It's going to be like 3 a.m. here. I'll just watch it. I'll just
That's what's so like crazy. Like I'm not even going to see this because I'm going to be asleep. Okay.
That was kind of like for like the month I debated going. That was the appeal. Was like, man, I'll be late at night, walking the strip, like that's a different experience, right?
Yeah.
But then I looked at the price.
Needs to experience Vegas drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right, precisely. When I texted the group chat, trying to convince the boys to go. That was my selling point. Was like, look, drunk 3 a.m. race cars. Like y'all won't enjoy that part, but the experience as a whole, you will. But then I saw the prices, and I'm like, they are never beating the elitist allegations in the United States.
No.
Period.
No.
Like,
this ain't
not when I can get a full NASCAR race weekend for like $200.
Here's the thing: I'm like a 24-year-old college student struggling financially. Do you think I have the facilities to fly over to Vegas, spend $5,000 on a race where I can sit home comfortable in my own bed? I'm probably gonna pass out by lap 10, but hey, I'd rather sit home comfortably. Whiskey on one hand, laptop on the other, watching this race. Fine.
Yeah, shout out Reddit.
Facts.
because I definitely have forgotten
Blowing
to
up the
renew my
spot.
F1 TV.
Blowing the spot.
I mean, really? Come on,
people listen
Carl.
to us nationwide.
Oh,
You just
whatever.
ruined it.
Oh,
Hey, cut this
whatever.
out. Cut this out.
Cut this
Okay,
out. Yeah, you
fine.
gotta edit
Whatever.
that out.
Fine.
Use the
God.
bleep button.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the censor on that. Yeah, A2 Carlito. Anyway, so enough about that. Do y'all want to start with Michigan? I guess. Yeah, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you want to talk about the Hall of Fame.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long week. But
It's
the
been
Hall
a
of Fame
long week. I tell you what, and we're not getting any further into this right now, but had the events of this week preceded the Hall of Fame vote, they would have burned the Hall of Fame down when Johnson it's because like I legitimately had a note in my phone that I keep with me, like in the event that I get to make these. And the note that I had is like, what does it say about NASCAR fans? They're willing to disown potentially the greatest driver of all time because of Toyota, right? Because like when I read the comments about him, people like he sullied his legacy going to the Japanese cars, X, Y, and Z.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know, right? And I'm like, what does that say about our fans that we cannot even get over this Jack Roush World War II nonsense that and acknowledge it to be great, because that's what it is, right? Because like for those that like maybe like weren't watching it or don't know, Toyota shows up in the Cup Series and like and like you would have thought that they like slapped like the hat off of Jack Roush's head, like he was out for blood, and he was like, I don't think it's right that they were making planes in WW2 and now they're in our sport, and then they blamed Michael Waltrip for stealing a sway bar. I don't know. It was a whole big ordeal. But anyway, but yeah, had the events of this week happened before they voted on that, oh man, I would have hate to see the reaction to him now being officially in the Hall of Fame after that. But yeah, so the Hall of Fame vote. Let's talk about that.
As quiet as it's kept, the Toyota Camry is probably more American than any other vehicle that races in NASCAR. But we'll save that for another time.
They do not care.
They don't care. No.
They do. Yeah. They have facilities. I'm gonna tell you something. They have facilities in Mississippi, Kentucky, and Texas. When I cannot think of any more red American states than those three. Okay, and they do not care. All right, whatsoever. So look, man. I've been at the port in Baltimore where they're bringing Chevys off the boats that came in from Canada, and somehow that has more favor with NASCAR fans than an American employer. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, let's go to the Hall of Fame vote before I ramble on about that.
All right, Jimmy Johnson has ops. He's got ops.
I'm one of them.
You got to be
really?
I'm joking. Y'all
you gotta be
Jimmy Johnson. That's my dude.
I love
Jimmy Johnson is the GOAT, and not only that, I'm happy that he's in the Hall of Fame. That dude. First of all, I appreciate Jimmy Johnson for not only that, but I don't want to keep bringing it up, but like for having Bubba's back in 2020.
Yep, that's really what I always go back to. Is
that blew me away.
Yeah,
he really had.
He literally just said, I will listen, I will learn. And once he did that, like you will forever be a GOAT in my heart.
Yep. Dude, he took that Superman nickname to heart. He's absolutely like, yo, I'm really about that life.
Yep.
I love all this foreshadowing.
I appreciate that, man. And I
hey, look, man.
Just for that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I've seen him win twice in person. And I look back on it now and I'm like, I'm really glad I got to be there. Both races, I was really annoyed that he won, but I was just like, cause like it was at Texas and Charlotte, which are like his best tracks.
Yeah.
And like looking back, I'm just like, man, the body of work he put in at those two facilities alone is insane. I mean, just like the career, the fact that he 5 times uncontested,
right,
is insane. You know,
That's why I was
mean,
so
like,
mad that he didn't get a good shot at Charlotte this year because I was ready for that. I'm like, man, that'd
he
be
was
awesome.
making some moves. Same with the
Yeah.
500, man. I mean, like I don't think he's really missed a step, honestly. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I you know, I hope he gets some run races next year because I think that he probably has some of that gray in him that like like Kevin Harvick has and Mark Martin and those guys that kind of got a second wind as they got up there. Although I guess Kevin and Jimmy are close to the same age. I don't know, but anyway, but yeah, the other guys that got in were speaking of Jimmy Johnson, Chad Knaus.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
with them as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That is, like,
I mean,
dope, good crew chief. One of the greatest.
Hey man, one of the greats. I mean, and I to think about, you know, how close they came to losing him to Roush. I mean, like you talk about earth-shattering what ifs, you know, because Greg Biffle said on the Dale Jr. download that they almost had Canal signed. You talk about like what ifs that like would have truly changed the trajectory of the sport. That is probably one of the biggest, besides somebody not passing away. I mean, that's huge. So, yeah, without a doubt, I mean, he belongs in the Hall of Fame as well. Even though I spent several years hating Chad Knaus, and I reveled in his suspension because that meant that 48 might not win that weekend.
Psych.
Nah, I was a Jeff Gordon guy during that time. It was like,
yeah, me too, man.
Even I have to acknowledge. What them two did to the sport. I can't really say what hate.
I mean, they're the best combination, right? They're what if Jeff Gordon and Ray Everham didn't split up, but they stayed together and just kept winning for like 15 years.
Was it like 3 different generations of cars? Or?
Three? No, it was it's 3. Because the Gen 4 and Gen 5 and Gen 6.
This man took that ugly Fast and Furious knockoff car and won a championship.
And won.
And
every time I see that car in victory lane, it hurt my soul. But it's like, damn, I can't sit here and hate like that. But it hurts. It's like it could have been a 24. It could have been.
Right. I'm gonna say 07. I heard it though, but I wasn't really mad. It hurt that Gordon couldn't win a title because him and Gordon was going at it that year. But it was all good though.
Yeah, I mean, 07 kind of stings. 14 will always kind of sting too a little bit. And I'm not even a Jeff Gordon fan in that sense, but also growing up with Jeff Gordon and that being like my introduction to the sport, like so many other people, like I wanted to see him win a title while I was like a really big fan and not a child. But for Chad Knaus to have won in 3 different platforms of a car and have them mastered, I mean, that dude is. I really hope he writes a book, you know, one year. Like the same way I talked about Adrian Newey, he has a book. It's a wonderful book called How to Build a Car. You should, if you're a fan of racing, you should read it. It's fantastic. I hope Chad puts one out because I'd be really interested to see how his mind worked all those years that they were building a dynasty, honestly.
I need the statute of limitations to expire so I can hear like how they cooked up some of those cars. Like I love the fact that cheating and getting away with it is such a unique thing in NASCAR versus like stick and ball sports. And like just the fact that they work in the gray area or even beyond the gray area, but they could somehow get around it. You know, you used to hear about stories in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and they were still doing it in the 2000s, 2010s. Like that's the stuff that I would be thrilled to hear about. Just like, how are you cooking these cars? Because Jimmy is amazing and great, but you knew that Chad was staying up till 2 a.m. going over every inch of the car, trying to find a way to get an advantage.
And that's why I don't know why.
Chad is he's a unicorn.
Like, I don't know why people get mad when we start joking about, you know, cars being cheated up or whatever. Like, we know what's happening. Like, let's just be serious. We know what's happening. Now, will they get caught?
It's NASCAR.
Some do, some don't. Right. And so, like, I don't know why people get so like defensive over that, but I mean, if it looks like it's cheated up, it might be. That's just, I mean, that's part of the game. Is like you got to push the limits and see what works, and sometimes they get away with it. So
Martin Truex.
Man,
but anyway,
Cole Pern was on Dinner with Racers a number of years ago, and like they almost got him to spill what he was doing differently, and then he was like, "Nah, I can't tell you that." But also, anything else on the Johnson Canals induction?
Jimmy Johnson's got ops, man. I really hate that one of the greatest drivers.
93?
Okay, well, if Jimmy Johnson got ops, I got folding chairs. So
hey,
wow, not the folding chairs.
Oh,
Who's swimming?
I ride for Jimmy. I don't care.
Facts.
Who's swimming?
Was it only 93% voted for Jimmy? So it wasn't unanimous.
Seven people said no. Which is crazy because you have to vote for somebody else. Like you can't just say no. You quite literally have to move your vote to someone else.
Well, that's why I'm glad. I'm glad some people posted their ballots so people could see what the ballot looked like.
That's
a lot
not
of the criticisms, a lot of the early criticisms were completely incorrect because the ballot was not formatted how they described it. So
yes, because somebody on Twitter I saw
somebody was going off and they were completely wrong.
Was like, oh, it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. He didn't vote because
it was that. Remember, no, it was that one person who was snitch tagging.
Oh yeah, he was snitch tagging. Yeah,
and they were all like, no.
And Dale retweeted. He was like, "I can't even vote, dude. What are you talking about?"
That was so embarrassing. Like,
which sidebar? Why did Dale Jr. not get a Hall of Fame vote?
And then not only that, he tagged Kyle Petty in there too.
Yeah. And Petty said the same thing. I don't know why he doesn't get a side vote. I mean, not a side vote. I don't know why he doesn't get a vote.
The most super rare W for Kyle Petty. That's only W Healy.
Oh God,
that's just so embarrassing to have all the NASCAR legends in your mentions telling you you're wrong.
Right?
That's
if you do that, you might as well retire as a NASCAR fan, buddy.
Because that's just embarrassing. You had all of NASCAR Twitter in your mentions.
Well, and his retort.
Shanghai, you go, baby.
I'm telling you, man. His retort to it was so funny. Because he was like, he told Junior, he was like, my theory was incorrect.
Yeah.
Nah, buddy, you got on, man.
Right.
Yeah. Like what? That was crazy.
Hey, I'll give it to him though. He tried to play damage control with that after he was
damage control.
Vehemently.
But also, so Donnie Allison was the other vote in. The Alabama gang. That's pretty cool because I believe now all the Allisons are in, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because I know Davey got voted in. I think Bobby was one of the first classes, so that would be the last of the three. I had to double check that. I'm probably wrong. But one thing I wanted to highlight about this that kind of got swept under the rug a little bit was that they gave the Landmark Award, which is the first time I've ever heard of this.
Yep.
To Janet Guthrie.
Yep.
Which I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that's honestly fantastic. So that was really nice to see because there were some people just like with the Johnson vote thing on Twitter who misunderstood what was going on and they were like spouting off how dumb they were and they were like, I don't understand how she's got in the Hall of Fame nomination and she didn't even win a race. And it was like, well, that's not what happened. But thanks for watching.
That's why the ballot. That was why it was important that people posted their ballots so people could see what the ballot looked like.
Right.
Because again, the criticisms about her winning were completely incorrect because the way they were criticizing it didn't even match how the ballot was formatted. So it's just come on, y'all. Learn how to read first of all, and second of all, before you want to get outraged about something, make sure you know all the facts about it before
you're asking a lot.
I know, but this is
any kind of outrage regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
They
we're holding NASCAR fans to a high bar that they will never
Oh
reach.
man, now they want it. Look, they want to be mad. It's like that Cold War kids lyric. There's nothing to do here but whine and complain. That's what it is, man. But anyway, so Hall of Fame went off. That was a little bit of fun controversy for 18 hours on Twitter. Little did we know what lay ahead. But we went to Michigan this weekend with the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series.
Oh my god!
And what?
Oh my god! That was massive disappointment once again.
Well, before we get on the group therapy thing, because for
Let me
those
go get my violin
for
first.
those keeping score at home, this is the 9th straight week that we're just like the A2 pit crew. But
new T-shirt design.
Yeah, honestly, man. But I don't know, man. It was a pretty good weekend. John Hunter won the Xfinity race. I thought that was cool. 5 this year. I'm rooting for my man. Especially now more than ever.
Well,
More foreshadowing.
Yeah, I know, right? But well, I mean that came out before the other deal did, but because we talked about that last week. You guys talked about that last week, and but the other side to it was I don't the Xfinity race seemed to be kind of spicy, a little bit kind of saucy. Young Tyler Gibbs in another finger pointing contest with his teammate, shades of Brandon Jones last year. That was kind of funny, entertaining to watch after the fact. Anybody got any thoughts on the Xfinity race?
Yeah, it was cool. Congrats on her. Let me check. That's it.
Yeah, 5 wins is a lot this year,
Yeah,
man.
no,
That's
right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really puts. I mean, I don't know. I think he's. The events of this week obviously have made people argue if he's Cup ready or not. But I mean, he's put up some insane numbers this year and last part time, and I think he's very hungry for a chance to go back to the Cup Series. And might I remind everybody, regretfully, that when he did jump into a Cup car last year at a week's notice, he was a little hot. He was doing something. I mean, at the expense of our embarrassment, but whatever. So then we go to the Cup race, which I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get political for a second, and we're gonna get canceled for this. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I'm gonna tell you something. There is no better example in this world today of climate change than the fact we have had 10 weekends this year affected by rain. I don't think huh?
I said Richmond wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Richmond needed it though.
Yeah, it did.
Well, the spring race, it was a little iffy at first
The
because
spring race was a little cold.
Bubba's block party was literally like a water park. It was fun, but I was soaking wet by the time I got back to my hotel. But it was worth it for the mac and cheese and collard greens I got with that fried chicken. So, right.
That's such a black plate.
It was black. Well, that was what I love because they had like 10.
Was it good?
It was very
was
good.
it bussin'?
It was
ethnic. It was ethnic.
And I think she actually gave me chicken and fish, if I'm not mistaken, because it was like late at night.
I'm telling you, look, man, I haven't eaten all day because of this stupid fasting I'm doing, and like I'm ready to just put my headset down and go make a meal, and y'all can finish this episode out. Just thinking about that.
So Bubba, we need you to have a block party in Arkansas because Carl's hungry.
God, no, Bubba need one in the Milwaukee area. I'm sorry, I need one. Y'all literally in Chicago, couldn't go to Chicago.
I'm gonna hold my tongue on that.
Don't even speak. No, don't even speak because I
said if I speak,
we'll be here for another 30 minutes.
Right.
I'll be in big trouble.
So don't.
Yeah. But yeah, so we you guys can start off on talking about the Cup race, and I'll join in on the back end of that.
I'm gonna go. Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
So overall, outside of my boys, race was actually no different. Pretty good racing. That battle between Busher and Truex was going crazy. Like, man, big. First of all, happy for Busher. Yes, I was kind of mad, but no, but happy for Busher though. Two back to back wins for RFK. So, is they back? Are they back? Man, happy for them though. All right. So outside of that, so I get this race like an A plus. Really good racing. Man, the past has been phenomenal. But for me, it's a D, my opinion. All right, here we go. Look, y'all ready? I expected so much more from this race, but it didn't. First, Kyle Busch wrecked out early, and then Christopher Bell wrecked out after that. That didn't even help. I'm like, why is going on? I hope Bubba don't wreck. Fortunately, he didn't. Thank you, but the car just gave up. Finished 18th, which is sucks though. But we did got a really good lot of stage points, like some good stage points. Plus 58 to the good. Up three races left. So pray to God we still up there. Three races left. All right, the last thing, then I get the 40 y'all. This pit crew gonna need some changes because it is unacceptable. I'm so for real, and I'm sick of it. Tyler, you all have Tyler Reddick literally in the lead. No, he was second, but coming out of the pit before Busher, and y'all ruined it once again. Like, what is going on with Tyler Reddick pit crew and Bubba's pit crew?
It's a team wide issue. That's
a massive. It's like, dang, like it's 2022, like 2023 worse than 2022 pit crew because. Because the way I'm seeing this at this point,
I don't know. I mean, it's almost hard to say.
Yeah.
Because I feel like last year we weren't as close to having all the wins that we've had, been close to this season.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like we're always like one step away from getting that like one good stop that would put us in the lead or put us in the top 3, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't happen. And now it's like happening every single week.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense how y'all we give Tyler and Bubba really fast cars, be in the lead for majority of the race, and to just fall off like crazy because the pit crews or the car just gave up. But the pit crews mostly, just like last week, Bubba was in the lead. Green flag pit stops came around, cool, and then Bruin did Monday happened to Tyler Reddick once again. Like, we can't keep doing this. We don't need some changes because I don't know what's going on. I know I'm talking a lot, but what I'm trying to say is, like, I never seen Tyler this furious in my life. But he is furious. And I can't blame the guy because y'all ruined the chance to get him a win. I want him to win because that Rocket car was nice. And I wanted Bubba to get a good finish though, but the car gave up though. But props to Bubba to get some really good stage points though.
Move he made for the lead, I swear.
And then not only that, that Bubba is a restart god.
I have never in my life, the noise that came out of my mouth when he made that move. I really wish there had been a camera on me at that point because it was hilarious. But I was just like, I almost threw something in my TV because I was just like, boy.
Right.
Oh, man. It just, but again, like, that's it. Like, we get great moments like that every week. And he's got this rocket that he's driving, and then we still have like nothing to show for it. Yeah, we got points, which is great.
Yeah.
But I truly think he could have won that race if everything had fallen into place like it needed to. And that's really frustrating.
Yeah, I just hope that things change. I just hope both pit crews and stuff change for both of them because I know Tyler and Bubba is getting really irritated in this. And keep in mind, there's only three races left. We can't keep doing this. Playoffs coming up. Bubba wants to get a good finish because he want to be in the playoffs. And yes, we up 15. Let's see up in 15th with 58 points to the good. But we want to get more. We want to be better to the playoffs hit. and we can't do that if the team messing up. We gotta get better. We gotta get better. Last thing I'm gonna say before I'll let y'all finish, but I'm not looking forward to the next 2 weeks. Oh my god, I hope some faith. I really hope faith going on. I want my boy Tyler Reddick. I want my boy Tyler Reddick to get those 2 road course wins. Yes, sir. And yeah.
But there's serious problems going on at 2311 in terms of the pit crew, because I think so far this season we've had the car to at least finish well, like in the top 10, top 15, or even wins. But yet, when it comes to like pit strategy, the pit crew would just throw it all away, and it's frustrating to see this every Sunday or Monday, depending on how the weather feels like. But it's never easy with this team. I don't know if they need some sort of like postseason intervention after the season ends, gather as a team, treat it like an AA meeting. It's like, hey, what do we got to do to fix up? Because we can't throw away good finishes and wins like this again. Because Tyler Reddick was pissed on that radio. Like, going in front of Busher, challenging for the win. Because I feel like he had the car to win.
Facts.
But yet again, that pit crew fumbled the bag. They made a massive egg to the point that he had to come back in and get this shit fixed. And where did he finish? I can't even remember.
30th.
30. Like, what could have been?
And see, that's the weird part. Is like, it's like beginning of the season, it was more like we kept pitting at the wrong time because they kept running the long strategy. It didn't work. And then it worked like that one time. And it was like, okay. But, I mean, for the rest of the season, like every time they would stay out really long, Bubba would just get, he didn't get anything from that. And of course, then it seemed like, the pit crew was doing okay. But, we just didn't have the position because we were pitting at the wrong time. We're staying out too long. And now it's like we fixed that part. And now the pit crew keeps screwing up. So it's like, I mean, at what point do we just kind of scrap it and start over? Because it's just, there's a huge disconnect somewhere within all these strategies. Like, it's almost like the two parts are not communicating with each other.
And this year, like,
it's just not.
Toyotas have been fast this year. Like, if you look at over on the other side of the Toyota camp at JGR, but they have been quick, especially that number 11 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
They have been quick.
Rockets.
So like, I'm not saying that the Toyotas are a bad package. They're giving us solid packages each race. It's just the fact that we just find a way to shoot ourselves in the foot, no matter what. Like, one thing goes right, we're gonna find another thing that goes wrong. And it's actually starting to get frustrating. 3 races left in the season. Yes, Bubba is 58 points to the good, but if one new winner comes in, it's spooky hours at 23:11. Uncomfortable conversations needs to be made quick.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they may have like given up on it at this point, and they're just kind of like, it is what it is, and they'll address it after the season. But I was really hoping that maybe, and I feel like something did happen, because I feel like the pit strategy has been better. It's just that the pit crew execution has been worse. So even after they made changes, it's still not working. So there's still, some work to be done with that. But I feel like it's so late in the season now, they're just kind of like, yeah, well, maybe we'll make it into the playoffs and then we can fix it. And it's like, I really wish they would just go ahead and figure out what's wrong and fix it now. Because I'm tired of seeing that. And I know Bubba's tired of it. I know Tyler's tired of it, clearly. So, and I'm hoping maybe after Tyler showed so much frustration, maybe they did, have a conversation finally, because for him to, react like that, I mean, that's not normal for him. And so, I mean, the reaction from everybody online was like, whoa, like he's really mad, like something's wrong. But we've all known that it's been wrong for a while. So it just needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean this was a good race. Michigan was a great race. I'm kind of glad it rained. It was funny being able to hear Denny's emergency podcast in the middle of the race. I've never seen that happen before, so it's kind of good that he has this show. He does give some good thoughts and tidbits. But it was a great race. The Toyotas were fast. Martin Truex Jr., you lucky you can't get sent to R&D twice. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, everybody I feel like now sees 2311's pit crew struggles. Like everybody, like of course, Bubba has been adamant. Either it's the pit strategy doesn't go to his liking, or the pit crew messes up for them. They had the points race Monday, and they did everything they needed to do. The car just got away from him. Otherwise, he would have been able to maintain, stage points the whole race. But I definitely feel for Tyler. I feel like that team has given away probably 3 wins this year just because of either Tyler missing the pit road box like he did in Michigan, or spinning into pit road like he did at Talladega. Like, he's had wins in his hands, but this is definitely the first one where he ran his race. He did everything he was supposed to do. The cars kept up with the track, and the pit crew just messed up. And with the long green flag runs that we had Monday, there's no way you can get back. There's no way you can catch back up if there's no cautions. If there's no natural cautions, this field doesn't get stacked up. Nothing happens. So he's just he had every right to yell. So I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but maybe him yelling instead of Bubba yelling will cause Denny to make some changes. I'm quite glad that Michael seems to be taking a more vocal role since his relieves himself of his duties as the owner of Charlotte. But we got points. We're 58 to the good. Tyler's gonna get one. Hopefully everybody's talking about SVG and I forget the other gentleman's name who runs supercars with him that's running the other RCR car, and Kamui and all that stuff. Tyler might just have revenge of the Michigan this week and put the car in victory lane. So I'm actually looking forward to Indy. But I mean, all in all, it was a great race. Glad Toyota run. Glad we had another repeat winner. Shout out to Chris Buescher, outclassing his boss once again, 2 weeks straight.
Not only that, no new winner. That's what I would love to see. Tyler's boy, come through in the next 2 weeks, please. Buescher too. Anybody who won this season, come through.
Hey man, this Keselowski pack is hitting hard very nicely.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at my notes from Richmond and I wrote that the 23 was a rocket until the 3rd stage and it fell off and the 45 messed up on pit road. And I was able to just copy those notes and paste them into this week because it was pretty much the same story. They didn't nail the adjustments late. And it sucks because that car was on rails and seemed to be the only one that had anything for the 19, at least for a couple laps during the first 2 stages. To everyone else's point, like, they obviously have good cars, but when it comes to game day, the team is just not executing like they need to on both the 23 and the 45. So it is a bit of a disappointment. I think this is one of those races where you have such high expectations. I know I had really high expectations. A lot of folks that are on this show in our group chat all did. And for the first 2 stages, it looked like those were right on the money. And then when it comes time for the pay windows open, they're running in the teens and just dropping like a rock. And for Tyler, I mean, what more can you say, right? Like, that's a car that probably should have been a contender for the win, and it got taken away. And not only do you have a mistake on pit road, but to have the mistake like they did, where the man looked at the tire and at the nut and just said, that'll sort itself out, and just ran around to the other side. I'd be furious too. I'd be cussing them out too on the radio if I were him. So, I mean, you keep the faith that they can survive if you're the 23 for these next couple weeks and be in a good spot for Daytona, and hopefully can survive and get into playoffs. But this one, it's a bit of a disappointment. The racing overall, I thought, was really solid. The 19 was illegal. It was cheated up as hell. Anyone who says anything different is wrong. And you know what?
My boy was flying.
And like, you know what? It's
And he
okay.
still
Like,
lost.
guys.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay if you're a Truex fan and you're like, oh, that's not shit. Like, it's cool. I wish the 23 was cheated up like him. Like, I'm fine with it. But like, there's no way you're gonna sit there and tell me that this car is spec with 35 other cars when it's driving from the back to the front in like 15 laps.
And still lost.
Crazy.
But yeah, and still not being able to finish, I thought was really interesting. I think Buescher, he's got a little bit of that Kevin Harvick in him, where he just kind of comes out of nowhere late in a race, I feel like, and is just all of a sudden in position to win. The 17 was in the hunt, he was a top 10 car for a lot of the race, but I didn't think it had anything for Truex. And then all of a sudden, here he is leading, and he's mirror driving and blocking and doing what he has to do to win, and he steals it. So if I'm Truex, I'm really kicking myself because I feel like that was one that I let get away. Anytime you have a car that's that dominant and it doesn't win, you really have to be frustrated, just wondering what could have been. But I think overall it was a pretty solid Michigan race. A lot of those crashes early on really spiced it up. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, both of those sold pretty early. I really had egg on my face because I said I thought Chase might be a contender last week, and he let me down. But it's fine. I mean, he's gonna have to win, and now people like Denny Hamlin are now finally admitting that he has to win, make it into the playoffs, which is what I've been saying for 8-9 weeks, and a lot of folks have been saying for 8-9 weeks, and people just had their head in the sand for it. So
playoffs,
obviously, like, that's now the situation they're in, but I don't feel that confident in the 9 winning right now. Like, they haven't shown any speed, any consistency. And oh, by the way, you're now on road courses that are really chaotic and all of a sudden are full of road course ringers that are really good.
Bingo.
So if you thought you were just going to walk in here like 29, this ain't 2019 anymore. Like, Chase Elliott's not going to come in and dog walk the field just because it's a road course. There's a lot of heat, I'm sure, in that 9 camp right now because it's not a guarantee at all. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just kind of took it as a sure thing, like, oh, we'll just win a race and, won't have to worry about it. And then they've been nowhere close to winning at all since he's come back. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
So I'll start. I'll go front to back or back to front on this. So as far as the 9 goes, right? I don't know what's not clicking for them to be where they need to be. I mean, they've had good finishes, they've had good runs, they've certainly gained points since he came back. But yeah, it's a must-win situation. Here's where my mind is at. Everybody is talking about, well, he's good on road courses. Well, he also has 4 wins at Talladega, I believe. And I said to say this, like, the race to end the season is a plate race. I am beyond positive Hendrick is not above, like, telling every Chevy team, from the 48, the 24, the 5, the 77, and the 7, that get stuff from them, like, line up and push Chase all day. Rick Hendrick is not going to Atlanta and telling the face of Napa, I'm sorry we couldn't get our $16 million a year team into the playoffs. And but I don't know, man. It's an anomaly, an enigma rather, of as to what is going on over there. But yeah, next weekend, whatever you want to call it, is going to be chaos. You can't count on anybody winning there. Watkins Glen, a little bit different. I mean, I could see it there maybe, but if you ask me right now, like, what race of the races Chase Elliott needs to win to get in, would he win? I would say Daytona without a doubt, and that's unfortunate because I don't want to say Daytona, but Toyota can't work together at plate tracks. We know that. And Hendrick has the numbers and they have the horsepower. So there's that. But as far as, Bonte mentioned, dreading these next 2 weeks. The scorecard for this year for Bubba and road courses has not been great. It's been noted on this show. But I stay in the column of anything can happen. Run all of the laps and don't take yourself out. We don't have stage cautions, which is a blessing and a curse, and just be there at the end. That's
Agreed.
that's
Yeah.
all that
Agreed.
we can ask of you. If you can keep it out of the barriers and just be there at the end, there's no telling what can happen. Michael McDowell, who is very good at road courses, can go from leading with 2 to go to stuffed into the fence. Okay, we've seen it happen here plenty of times at both these road
And
courses.
will.
Not look, man. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know. So if anybody from 2311 listens to this, which they probably won't, but if you do, I will say all that the focus should be for these two races is let's just make sure we're on the lead lap, we're on the pit cycle with the leaders, and that we're not, tearing the car up on the way to the finish. If you can come away with a 15th place finishes in both race, and I think in the leaders, the guys who need to have bad days fighting for the lead, and they might. I think it'll be fine. There won't be any problems there. I think Daytona is where the real concern is because anything can happen. Um, and going back even further to this weekend at Michigan, if you would have told me, 2 years ago when they announced the forming of RFK that they were going to be a multi-race winning team within 2 years, I would have said probably not. No, I mean, that team was so far gone in 20, and Chris Buescher has a lot of talent, and he stuck with that organization. He stuck around for a while, and now it's paying dividends. But that organization was so far from grace in the conversation of winning every week that I didn't really suspect it was going to be an immediate turnaround. I thought 3 years at the earliest. So that's been really cool to see. Chris is from Texas. I'm from Arkansas. We're kind of like cousins, not really, but it is cool to see a man who has really stayed as loyal as he could to the Ford camp and to the Roush camp, and they had to play little games with his contract to loan him out to keep him at arm's length. But to see it pay off now for him, I think is really cool. And honestly, I want him to go as far into the playoffs as he can because he's worked really hard for it. But that comes with a caveat of it stings to see him be that successful because in my mind, he is talent wise on par with Bubba Wallace. So what I'm saying is there is only one reason that Bubba Wallace is not securely in the playoffs with 2 wins and being complimented on how good he's run this year. Can you guess what it is? Give you a hint. It rhymes with sit do. Okay. Uh, my
Starting 5 that needs to be replaced expeditiously.
I'm telling you, look, 2311. I know some old boys work second shift to steel plant in Osceola, Arkansas that could probably do twice the job these cats are doing, man. I'm gonna tell you, I have had to type out the words. Numbers don't tell the whole story in defense of this 23 team more times than I have in my life prior, because that's the truth. Numbers do not tell the entire story. And 2 years ago, I looked at it. I said, okay, the team as a whole needs to grow, right? Driver, crew chief, pit crew. And I look at it now, and I'm like, there is one red herring, and just because the owner of this team got a little crassy with his current cup owner about how we're doing pit crews, now we're suffering. And so I hate to see, we've talked before about, okay, well, Tyler Reddick is the franchise driver. I'm not comfortable with that statement, but whatever. So hopefully, now that Tyler has had this issue in public eye in such a humiliating way, right, that has cut the wind from underneath their wings on almost a sure win at Michigan, and people have commented on it. I've even seen people who call Bubba Justice, who call him Bubba Smollett on Facebook, commentate on how bad the pit crews at 2311 are. Now that it's common knowledge, fix the problem. It shouldn't be this hard. Whether it is let's go get a Xfinity pit crew that a Cup Series team is training them. Look, go get a Hendrick pit crew. I don't care, but this obviously is not working. I don't know what else you're going to have to do, because what's going to happen is you're going to have one car deep in a playoff run, and a pit stop is going to take them out of the next round. And the only person that is going to have egg on their face is James Dennis Hamlin. As far as I'm concerned, and I understand he's not the sole owner, there are other decisions in it, whatever. My frustration is this: at the end of the day, you are the face of this organization. You're the owner. You work in the sport. Why are you being so quiet about this? Why are you just kind of shrugging it off? Like we all know what the problem is, man. So it's really frustrating to watch. That's my soapbox for this week. And again, this is the 9th week running of, man, I wish we had the group of animals from like the George Orwell book, like what was it, Farmyard or whatever, to change Bubba's tires instead of these guys, or the forklifts from the Cars movie. Somebody, please, because this is driving me, and it's driving me insane. It is driving me insane. I have not been in a position to watch a Cup race live in some time, but I can tell you this: the ebb and flow of our group Twitter chat is 2/3 of the way through the race. Bubba is cooking today, and then at some point I'll look down at my phone when I'm not moving, and everybody that's in this session right now and in that chat will have just a laundry list of expletives they've said, and I've known what's happened. And that's how it's been we're almost 23 races this year. So anyway, but my last thing to say about the Cup race last weekend is this. So I watched the highlights today when I had some time to sit around, because I listened to the race, didn't get a chance to watch it live. They were running pretty fast around there, and it doesn't mean anything necessarily, but it is good to see them getting back to above, right around 200, mile an hour speeds. And whatever they're doing with these cars to make them faster, because they're not adding horsepower, is working, and I want them to keep doing it. And I need Michigan to have a second date. I don't know. We talked a couple weeks ago about the Indy Oval coming.
I was just saying that too. I was just saying that too, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, so people agree with that. That's great. We talked a couple weeks ago about the Indy Oval coming back. It would probably suck. I'm not so sure of that anymore. We just don't have enough big tracks anymore for them to show how fast they can go. But so whatever they're doing, keep doing it, because the cars are getting kind of racier. But I said it on Twitter, they're going to have to pretty much just reinvent what we had 3 years ago at some point. Cost be damned. So whatever. But that's my take on this weekend's festivities at Michigan. And that's it. So what else do we have to cover? I guess we have to look forward to this week at they're at Lucas Oil for the trucks, and then they're at the road course for the Xfinity and Cup Series. And then SVG is running the truck race at the IRP Oval, which I think is really cool. So yeah, I'm excited for this. Is probably the last race we're going to have on the road layout for a while. Thank God. And I'm excited for this. There's a lot going into this weekend. I'm excited for the ringers, just all that good stuff. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. Whoever wants to lead off with that.
Yeah, I'll go first. So
okay.
I consider myself, I guess, closer to being like a traditionalist when it comes to my NASCAR. Like, I'm always banging on the table for old school point system, and I hate stages and all of that. But I really like the Indy Road Course. Like, I understand that it's a crown jewel and that, there's such a rich history there and all that. But part of me just really loves the chaos and the calamity that comes from the Indy Road Course. And I think, for 1 week out of the year, if it's going to be a complete cluster, I'm fine with that. Every Indy Road Course race we've had, I can promise you, I didn't fall asleep. I was sitting on the edge of my chair and I watched every lap glued to the screen. And it's had wild moments. It's had good finishes. So I understand the logic and the case made for going back to the oval, but I'd be the only advocate for it here, but I think I might be the biggest one in the country for keeping this somehow, some way on the schedule, but I'm sure it's not actually going to happen.
Absolutely not. And you know why? Because I want the Daytona road course more than I want Indy's road course. There, I said it. I don't know. I think this week's gonna be interesting. I'm really excited to watch the truck race. I wonder if SVG is going to be a bowling pin or a bowling ball in his effort to show that he can run some ovals. I'm really excited about Kamui running the 67, 2311, running the 67 car again. I have a theory on what Denny's number would ever be if he wants to come join the ranks here if Mavis doesn't outbid FedEx to re-sign him next season. But I'm looking forward to Kamui. Apparently, he's going to be the ringer of ringers. Allegedly, he may be faster than SVG, but we'll see. But right now, there's the Truck Series on my mind. I still need Raja to come through. Still need him to get a win. He still needs a ride for next year. I need him to show up and show out. And then whatever happens Saturday and Sunday happens with this whole tripper header weekend that Roger Penske has put together. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I feel about it. I really, for me, I'm worried about Raja, and I really want him to get the win that he deserves. I feel like I saw someone say some like really annoying stuff online about him a couple days ago, like, getting on him about not winning or whatever. And I'm like, have you watched the races? Because he's been flying and then his truck just dies on him. Like, that's totally different from, him not running well or him not making good decisions during a race. Like, he's been racing really well and you can see the talent is there and then the truck just dies. That's a totally different issue. So, like, I really hope people see that and see that he's really got the talent and he's trying. It's just that the equipment that he has is not giving him the best chance of winning. So I really do feel like he's had a couple chances where he should have won and his truck just failed him. So, I'm hoping still that there's a chance that we'll still see, at least one win from him this year. That would be awesome. But honestly, top 5, top 10 for him, I'm still totally stoked when he gets those. So, yeah.
I lost train of thought there for a second. Yeah, as far as Raj goes, man, it's the same story, right? It's the numbers don't tell the whole story. And that was kind of how his ARCA, deal went last year, as well. So it's been frustrating to watch. He's been there. I don't know, man. He'll probably win Talladega. I'll put that energy out there. Or maybe Martinsville. I don't know. I just want to win. Are they racing? Are they racing Bristol? The regular Bristol? I don't remember the schedule.
Think so. Let me check.
What trucks? I think
yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so, but maybe there. I don't know, man. He's had speed all year, and I don't know what in the world it's going to take for him to finish it out. But man, it would be really nice for him to do that. But yeah, as far as Art was saying about being a traditionalist, 100%, right? But yeah, Indy has been the brand of chaos that has been so fun to watch. It's toxic. Like, it brings out the worst in traditional fans, because it's like, I shouldn't be enjoying this, but I am. I shouldn't be enjoying, these 10-car pileups and the track coming up and Ross Chastain like intentionally missing turn one to like go around the field. But I am. I'm loving all of this. The fact that um, Chase Briscoe hooked Denny Hamlin to win at what is essentially his home track, and he didn't win, but he almost did. I was standing. I was in my truck when that was going on, and I was standing like in the sleeper of the truck, like shouting and jumping because I thought that he was about to do that, and that was such a cool moment. But it
No,
didn't
he had a
happen.
penalty.
Yeah, he had a penalty. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't wind up winning. It looked like for a minute he was going to win, and then he didn't. But he didn't get the penalty or whatever. But yeah, I love Indy Road. It'll be cool to see the oval come back. But this weekend, stacked with the supercars guys. Mike Rockefeller is back in the car in the 42 this week. That'll be cool. Jensen Button's back. Jensen had a really good race at Chicago up until a certain point, so that'll be fun to watch. And I think he's got that experience on him now that he can be up there. Man, dude, Kobayashi in a cup car is so insane to me. I would have never thought in a million years, but I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be a good opportunity for him. Um, and I think everybody's waiting with bated breath to see if SVG can go 2 for 2. I I was looking at the betting book app today for us, and the odds of him winning are like almost negative. So that's the way I think the gambling universe feels about the odds of him winning. So I don't. It'll be unprecedented, historic, and really dang cool to see him go 2 for 2 with the Project 91 car. So and then there's that one old boy that's running the 33 this week that we all are doing a terrible job remembering his name. But it's not nearly as bad as apparently, I guess, Mike Davis or Dale Earnhardt Jr. confused Kobayashi with the hot dog guy on the Dale Jr. download. So at least we weren't that bad about it.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah. That
Oh
happened.
my God.
That happened. Yeah, I was, the Dale Jr. download giveth and they taketh away, because as soon as they put out something good, they have a moment like that. But it's all good. But yeah.
Brody Kostecki is the gentleman's
Yeah,
name.
yeah, Brody. Yeah, I knew the Brody part. I don't know why I kept forgetting that because it has the weirdest sponsor period. But it's cool to see the 33 back, so that's nice. But yeah, there's no way to tell who's gonna win this weekend, but it's probably gonna be one of the funnest races to watch this year. So I'm really, really, really excited to listen to it. Unfortunately, because I'll be at work, but still. So whoever is up next, I think it's Jarrett.
No, it's not me. I said my piece.
Oh.
I'm excited for Kobayashi this weekend. Yeah, interested to see how he'll run. Our rumor has it during his testing, he's been very, very quick, very fast. I hope it translates well on the course. And I wouldn't mind him winning the Indy Road course. Of course, I would like to see either Tyler or Bubba win it, for agenda reasons, But Kobayashi in the Cup car, if you told me that a few years back, I would have slapped you in the face and laughed at you. But now, shit's becoming a reality, and I'm excited to see. I can't wait, really.
Ooh, I just saw Bubba gonna have a money line car this week. That thing pretty.
Somebody finna get some bread. I hadn't seen. Is it a new scheme or is it? I guess I haven't seen the money line card.
Probably the same scheme.
Okay.
It looks like a new scheme. It
well,
looks
yeah.
Stand
I'll
in
look
chat
at
and
it.
see.
This man here.
I'll start.
Nah, I'm not. Look, hey, this is neutral ground, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Because Monte has been on my head the last hour or so for no reason.
Wow,
it's been pretty crazy. But anyway,
goodness well while he was on your head.
No, well, okay,
King
but look,
Monte.
but look. Here's the thing. He had no reason to be mad at me. Other people did. It was still out of my hands, But yeah, I almost got run over at FedEx today when I was over there
That's
at the
heartbreaking.
facility in Memphis. Yeah, man. Yeah, one of their truck drivers. I was like walking back to my truck, and like one of their drivers came like just around the corner, just flying, and I was like, man, I empathize with Kyle Larson all of a sudden.
Oh my God!
I can't with you, bro.
I almost forgot I had that written down. But no, that was corny. Anyway, So that's that for this coming up weekend. Any other final thoughts? Anything else that we're missing out on?
I just genuinely, NASCAR community, please rally around James Dennis Hamlin and tell him to quit being cheap and go get some of these players that's going to get cut from these NFL training camps. I'm telling you,
boy.
I've been saying that for weeks.
Man.
we got to circle back.
Yeah, we have to.
It's the
The
time.
Panthers Stadium is right down the road
It's right
from
there.
2311.
Right.
You right
literally.
there. Beyonce leaving and they getting their field back tomorrow.
Oh my
Y'all
God.
go get this talent, please. Hire Beyonce as backup dancers. At least they can get choreography down.
Oh man,
I'm sure they can
You
learn
know
how to do a
what?
pit stop.
You know what?
I'm telling you,
Let's get in formation.
I'm telling you, I had a there's a Love's over there in Statesville. I had to get a tire changed that once, and they did that pretty quick. So I don't know, those guys work pretty cheap, Danny. You might want to go holler at them over the Love's truck stop on 77 there. Anyway, yeah, man. I defended that whole deal by saying it's growing pains, but it's year 3 of a multi-million-dollar organization with some true star power at the helm. You shouldn't be having those. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think when it's starting to cost you guys results like it has, and when you have the kind of speed to shape the playoff picture and you just don't have the execution, I think it's time to have a very real conversation. So my prayer is this, that David Wilson tells Denny, like, we'll fund the bill for new pit crews, but you have to have something better going into these next 10 weeks. Otherwise,
Steve, make him do it. Steve, if you're listening, make him do it. Make him sign the contract.
Yeah, honestly, because otherwise it's going to be embarrassing. I mean, like, when just playing devil's advocate for a second, let's leave Bubba out of the conversation. When Tyler, gets dipped out of a round for somebody, let's say, like, I don't know, I'm rolling the playoff picture right now. No.
Has he ever? What?
I don't know why I thought about that.
Thank God.
Who's somebody random in the playoff picture right now?
Ricky Stenhouse.
Stenhouse. Okay, boom, there we go. Yeah, Stenhouse. When Tyler Reddick loses out of a round because of a pit stop, that somehow Ricky Stenhouse scoots his booty on in through there and gets through the next round like he likes to do. I'll tell you something, man. Folks from olive brands are slicker than fish oil, but that's a different story. But I want the embarrassment to ring home to everybody involved in that organization that, man, maybe we should have changed out the crews and we should have paid a little bit more money on the front end of things, because golly, this is embarrassing. But anyway, so that's all that I have, and I guess that's all the rest of us have, unless I'm mistaken.
No.
It sounds like I'm not mistaken.
No.
So as always, we really appreciate you guys listening to us. It has been great. We've seen some really awesome growth and interaction. We love that. Please keep it coming. Unfortunately, somehow Bonte has been the one getting the interaction. I don't understand that part of it.
How that happened? All the fame and notoriety go to Bonte.
Well, you know what it is that I jokingly said he was the face of the company now, and I think people
took that and ran with it.
People couldn't, they couldn't handle satire. They think he's really in the studio like OVO.
I guess
I think he's really him.
I guess I am a fan favorite.
On that note, I got to do my plug. Like,
absolutely.
Subscribe, enjoy us. We're on Threads now. We're on Apple, Google, Amazon, Spotify, Audible, another streaming service we get for being on Apple. We appreciate y'all listening.
I'll tell you what, for $2, I'll put this episode on a flash drive and mail it to you if you want it bad enough. We are here for you. Okay.
I mean, look, if you made it this far, go ahead and give us that 5 stars. You didn't make it this far.
Yeah,
if you didn't like it.
We are 9 weeks into this. There's no way.
thank y'all for the support for real. I appreciate these guys like Kiana. I'm sorry, guys and ladies. So, let me repeat that. But like for real, like appreciate this podcast and I appreciate y'all the support. Yeah.
Why does this feel like a season finale for some reason?
It is.
I'll tell you who it was
If
season
only.
finale for. Hey,
Oh
cut the tape.
no!
Cut the
Oh
tape.
no!
Oh
I can't
God.
deal with y'all, man.
And we're done.
Yeah, we're done, y'all. Have a great
And we're done.